What's up, Wilmington? The 910 podcast is about to bring to you your weekly dose of tips, tricks, and hacks, and news and events affecting Wilmington and all of Southeastern North Carolina. So take your seats and buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride. And here are your hosts, the Hot Mess Express, Shanny Mae and Frankie!
What's up, Wilmington? It's Shanny Mae.
And I am Frankie.
And together we bringing you that Hot Mess Express. What's been going on this week, Frankie?
I am sad that summer is about to wrap up. We are 1 week away from it being Labor Day. Can you believe that?
I cannot. But you know what? The good thing about living down where we live, summer doesn't end. So, not for a long time.
Yeah, that's what people have been
season.
saying. Yeah, they've been saying, oh, no, you've got probably till October. But no, it's still the fact that you know that Labor Day is coming up right around the corner.
It's craziness.
Yeah, you know, before we get into what we did this week, I went to this place last night to do trivia, and that was a lot of fun.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you see anybody you knew up in there?
I did. I had a great time.
Some crazy old DJ girl.
Yeah, and you know, I have done trivia in a bunch of different places, and I have never done that format, but it was a blast. It was easy, and not the questions were easy, but like the format was easy. I like the pre-printed cards, but anyway, that was a real good time.
I am glad you enjoyed it. I've heard that quite a few times, and honestly, I've played a couple of the others, and they either don't put the questions up on a screen. The guy just kind of reads them from a microphone, and I think that when you're having cocktails and you're sitting around laughing with your friends and talking and having other conversation, that is very helpful. Because I know as a player, I couldn't really remember the questions and the answers, all the options, as far as like the multiple choice to really do it when you didn't have it on a screen to see. So I think that helps.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that it was busy in there for you. And you said that that's not as busy as it gets, that it gets even busier.
Actually, yeah. I mean, that seems to be that tour season is winding down, so it was actually a lot less people than there normally is there on Wednesday nights. Thursday nights, starting this week, every other week, I will be doing Pantana Bob's. They are on College Road. So
what's that near?
It is actually across the street from Jeff Gordon Chevrolet,
okay,
and right by the intersection, the overpass of Market and College. So if you're looking for the other answer, it's next door to Cheetah's. Whoop, whoop. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Or the New Havre County Government Center.
Yes. For those of you that are not into Cheetahs, it's next to the Government Center, but it starts at 7:30 on every other Thursday. So the first one being the 23rd, and it will go every other Thursday from there at 7:30. So definitely come check that one out too.
Yeah, you know, the thing about cheetahs is even though they're the fastest land animal, cheetahs never win.
Nope, never. Karma will get you if you do.
Oh, man. I think we're talking about two different ones. So, did you happen to see any news articles this week that were interesting?
Actually, there was a little something about up in your neck of the woods. Food trucks are apparently suing CB because they don't want them in the area.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting. And I actually saw this in the Island Gazette. And the Island Gazette is a newspaper that's been printed since the 70s there on the island. I think it's printed in Carolina Beach. And it's family-owned small business. And we really try to support local businesses as much as possible. And so yesterday when I got the Island Gazette at the hardware store there on the island, I was reading that about the food trucks. I was like, man, that is really, really interesting of what's going on. And I really, after reading the article, not sure how I feel about the food trucks. And did you read it much?
I didn't have a chance to read the whole thing, but my take on it is just I personally love food trucks. However, I think the reason they're being the way they're being is because they feel like it's going to hurt their restaurants and their revenue down there. But there's so many. I really don't see that happening, honestly.
So
There's
many
so
people?
many restaurants and so many people that I really don't see that allowing the food trucks would really take away from the business of the places there. I may be wrong, but I don't think they would, because a lot of them, you're either going there because you're going to see a specific band that's playing, or like the Lazy Pirate has reggae night. You know, you're going for that reason because you're going to enjoy the reggae, so that's why you go eat there. Or you're already on the boardwalk, so you hit one of the places there. You know, those kind of things. I think that it's more about your location and not necessarily, I don't know, but I don't feel like it would affect it that much as far as like hurting the other places. I may be wrong. I can admit I have been wrong in the past, but shh, don't tell no.
Yeah, I think I've been wrong maybe once. You know, what I found interesting was current town ordinance says that if you have a brick and mortar restaurant in Carolina Beach, that you can have a food truck that's there too.
Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why would you need it at that point?
Exactly, but
I guess that's why they allow them, huh?
yeah, but if you think about a food truck, they have to have electricity.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to pay somebody for the electricity, or they won't, or they'll just find an outlet.
True.
And then so I think that's it. But you know, one of the things I found the most interesting about it is the attorney that's representing them is out of Florida.
Oh, wow.
And they take cases where it is like a constitutional violation.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, they came and did a big press conference there on the New Hanover County court steps of the courthouse. And you know, they talked about, you know, they represent individuals whose constitutional rights have been violated. And they talked about that the government, which is, you know, Carolina Beach, Town Carolina Beach, that they are limiting food choices to the consumer to only those of the brick and mortars. And I don't know that would make a heck of a whole lot of difference.
Right.
And I guess it depends on when they would be setting up. Would they be setting up all day, all the time? Or would they just be setting up late night?
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, part of the unfair part of it is you don't have to pay rent all that other time if you're a food truck. And you can say, I don't feel like going to work today. So, you know, you wouldn't have to go to work. You can just, you know, stay home, and then at your leisure, you know, go down to Carolina Beach and set up and sell, and then take off. So
Right. Yeah, I think it's kind of double-edged, and I guess it just depends. I guess, you know, they wouldn't have to pay taxes in that area, that kind of thing, as far as, like, county taxes. So maybe that's something. I mean, it's still New Hanover County, though, so the majority of them are probably registered in New Hanover County, but city-wise, I guess is what Carolina Beach is looking at, maybe.
Right, yeah. And then collecting sales tax. Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of things. So maybe they'll work it out, but it looks like it was only 3 different food trucks that got together, and it looks like they're not suing for much. I think they're only suing for like $1 in compensation.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Just the point.
Yeah, just the point of being able to get it. But you know, there are a lot of good restaurants, and I don't think that we even have time to get to all of those.
Oh, no.
That was one thing. Now, there is this coming week a big music festival. It's the Rock the Beach, and that's this coming Saturday. And we talked about it a lot last week, so we don't have to go in that much of a detail about it.
I do recommend buying those tickets in advance, because I think it's going to be packed.
Yeah. And one thing I don't know that we talked about last week, I don't remember, but one thing that I think is important is we should talk about parking.
Absolutely.
Because you could end up parking, you know, half a mile away.
Maybe even farther.
And so, I mean, that's something that you should definitely think about before you're going. Do you have any kind of tricks or tips to help people find parking spaces?
I personally always go, of course, regardless of where I'm parking, not just at Carolina Beach. When we were in Myrtle Beach for the Country Music Festival, do the same thing in the past there. Go away from the water to park, not towards it. Because the closer you are to the event, obviously, but not just the event, the ocean, the less parking there's going to be, and the less availability. So my general rule of thumb is to go the opposite direction a few blocks, not, just, and then 9 times out of 10 you can find something and still be within walking distance, because when you're going to some sort of function or event like that, you're going to be walking anyway. So what's a few more blocks in the mix? But yet you're not having to pay the $25 a day parking fee that some of these people set up the lots for, or you're not walking, like you're saying, half a mile to a mile to where you need to call an Uber to take you from your car to from where you park to the event.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is, if you live in Wilmington and you're going to this event, I would find a place on the island where you could park your car and then just call an Uber and not have to worry about it. And I always think about what's the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario that you get there and you might have too much to drink, or you might end up hanging out with your friends in another location. Then you just take the Uber and you can go home and come back the next day and get your car. But it is important to know that where you park your car and look for signs and make sure that there's no signs in that parking lot that say no overnight parking.
Absolutely. Because that is a sad feeling to come back to an empty parking spot where you left your car.
Yeah, so if you're going to Rock the Beach this coming Saturday down in Carolina Beach, make sure that you have a ride, to get to and from the place if you plan on drinking. And because you're going to be out in the sun and you may not feel like you're wasted, but the general rule that I've always heard informally is 1 drink an hour. So if you think you may have had too much, just definitely don't take that risk, and you don't want to be the person that wrecks and hurts someone. So
absolutely. Well, I say, just from experience myself in going to things like that on the beach, like you said, you may have a little more to drink than you originally intended, but you also 9 times out of 10 end up meeting up with some friends, or even making new friends who you decide to go somewhere else with when it's over. Somewhere that's within walking distance, but somewhere that you can maybe grab a bite to eat and have a few more cocktails. And by that point, then you really don't need to drive. So no farther than it is, and no more expensive than it is to take an Uber from Wilmington. I say just go ahead and take one from the house so you can enjoy yourself. You don't have to think about if you've had a drink or two too many. And, if you run into somebody and decide to go somewhere else for a few hours, you're good, because it's still going to cost you about the same amount to get from that little area back to your house. But you don't have to worry about your car being left somewhere overnight, and you don't have to worry about getting that ever expensive DUI, or most importantly, hurting yourself or someone else in the process of trying to get home.
True that. So that's this weekend there, and that's one of the events that we'll probably touch on maybe a little bit later. And as far as some other news that happened, I heard from WECT actually today, that they have found several bodies laying out on the streets in Cancun. And so the State Department has issued a warning for anyone that's going to Cancun on vacation.
Yes, that is insane. I've seen a little bit about it myself, and they said that I believe 2 of them were dismembered and they were in the streets of Cancun. So it's not just, sounds like they're not trying to be discreet about it. Whatever it is, or whatever they're trying to prove, it's definitely not worth your life to go on vacation when you live in paradise as it is.
Absolutely. And so we talk about, oh yeah, it's great to go on vacation, but there are a ton of things to do right here in the area, and I guess we can just jump into what we did this week. And so, one of the things that I did, we talked about it at the top, but it was going to the the DJ trivia up in Surf City last night, which was about an hour drive for me, but it was a quick hour. On the way up there, I was doing some work, so I was talking on the phone, so I really didn't even pay that much of an attention to it. But that was really neat. I have never done the DJ trivia format before. I've always done where each round they ask you 10 questions and you fill out a piece of paper, you give it to them, and there's a little bit of a lag. But I like the multimedia part of it, where there were there were pictures and there were clues and there was music, and the music in between could be a clue, could not be a clue. I thought that was really neat. I thought that you guys did a really good job.
Thank you. It was great to see you. I was really happy to see you guys up there, and I always enjoy when people come and check it out because I think I'm a little bit different person up there. You take on a whole different personality but you have to, and it's fun. And there's days that I get off work at the office and I think to myself, man, I've had a long day today. I really don't feel like doing this tonight. And then I get there and my people are all smiling and happy to see me, and we start having fun and listening to the music. And before I know it, I am always, always, always grateful that I ended up going, because they pick up my spirits, and you guys are what make my world go round. So I love to see you smiling faces. And I would love for more of our viewers to come out and introduce themselves. Even, they've got the every other nights at P-Bob's, and then every Wednesday night at Gallagher's on Topsail. And I would love to see them. And maybe, when we know there's people coming, you can come. We can all kind of meet. That way people kind of put a face with the name other than just our pictures they see on Facebook.
Yeah, my friend that you met last night, her name is Shay. And she is going to be answering some listener questions.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So you know that she is also a definite hot mess. That should be interesting in the coming weeks. So if anyone has any kind of questions or advice that they would like to ask our friend Shay, she is going to give you the answers, and I call her the potty mouth princess. And so she will definitely not pull any punches, and I'll probably have to find a censor button somewhere for her craziness. So anyway, I'm excited about that. That's coming up with a little segment. And what else did you do this week?
I actually went to Leland Under the Lights car show. It was the 15th annual. They had it in the parking lot of the Brunswick Forest business area. I posted quite a few pictures on our Facebook page. They were nowhere near a picture of every car that was there. I was pretty amazed by how many people were there and what a big turnout they had. It was awesome. I love to see the new and the old. There was a great mixture of all the different vehicles. Some really old ones up to brand new ones, but there was lots of people, lots of really cool stuff to see. I mean, there were some that had some really neat paint jobs. There were some that had some really cool LED lights. It wasn't just seeing the old classic cars. And honestly, personally, I like to see the classic cars. Sometimes I even catch myself thinking, why are they here, when I see the newer ones, especially the ones that you see on the road every day. But I just like the classic cars myself, the classic muscle cars specifically.
Yeah, that sounded really neat that they were having that. And where was that?
It was in the parking area over by Lowe's Foods in Brunswick Forest. They have a big parking area back kind of behind it, to the side of it there.
Well, another thing that I did, so last night I went up to Surf City, which is about an hour, and then also this week I went down to Myrtle Beach and I hung out at Broadway at the beach.
Oh, cool!
I had some good times there. I went to
fun stuff.
Dave & Buster's.
I love that place. When my son was little, I haven't been lately. I don't think I've been to the one in Myrtle Beach. That would be cool.
Well, it is a lot of fun, and I like to go there and play the games, and they've got games for every age group. So you can go and have fun, and then you get bored, you leave, and you still got your money on your card and your tickets on your card, so you don't have to keep up with tickets, and I think that's absolutely awesome.
That is. They've come a long way since the days of showbiz and,
yeah.
and having to hold on to your tickets and your coins, and I think I might still have a couple Showbiz or Chuck E. Cheese coins somewhere from the kids' days.
I know that I do here in the car. I play that many games.
That's too funny.
Yeah, and another thing that I did was I went to Little River, which is only about an hour from here in Wilmington, and I went on the Sea Screamer, which is they used to call it the world's largest speedboat. I didn't see that sign now. But basically, it's a big boat that you go on and you go look for dolphins. And if you don't, if you don't see a dolphin, then they give you a free voucher to come back. But I think they usually almost always see a daggone dolphin, and that was neat to see the dolphins. And I think we saw 4 that were out following a shrimp boat, and it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. and it wasn't that expensive, so that was a nice little getaway for, a half of a day to go there and come back, since it's only an hour drive.
That's cool. I've not even seen anything about that.
Yeah, so you go down the Little River, and it is right there. As soon as you get in the Little River, you make a left on like Manola Drive. There's a Captain Jules Hurricane restaurant that's there. There's a Fibbers, which is there, and that is also where the casino boat is right there in that same place. And then they have jet ski rentals. They have 2 different types of dolphin sightseeing cruises, and they have fishing boats that go out there. So it was not all the way into Myrtle Beach, but it was, an hour, maybe an hour, 10 minutes, but it was a really quick drive. So that's a lot of fun. So you don't need to go to Cancun and see dismembered bodies on the streets. You can go to Little River and just have fun and see some dolphins eating, the shrimp that's coming out of the nets that they're catching there.
You always see good, like the pelicans and the dolphins and the different stuff following them, because they know they're not stupid. They know what's in those nets. They're like, woohoo, let's go there.
And so this coming week, we've already talked about the Rock the Beach, which is this coming Saturday. That is August the 25th. Any other events that's coming up this week that you're excited about?
There is a Heart for Healing benefit tomorrow, actually, at 8 p.m. at the Juggling Gypsy. It's $5 admission, but that will feature live music, at least 3 different bands, plus stand-up comedy. The proceeds benefit a friend of the Juggling Gypsy, Autumn Lee, who recently suffered an unprovoked attack and requires expensive medical attention. So there again, anytime we can keep that money local and it goes to a good thing, we want to talk about it. We want you guys to come out. And I tell you what, I waste $5 on coffee. So, $5 admission, that's worth it to help someone that needs. And I can speak from experience in the last few months and all the issues I had. I have insurance, and my bills are insane right now. So I could only imagine, which I don't know, it doesn't say whether or not she does, but I could only imagine someone who does not have insurance, what they would be looking at, just simply because of what I'm seeing roll in with it.
Yeah, the other night I was out kind of late, and me and 2 friends were sitting around at this place, and this guy came up and said, excuse me, I'm stranded, and I was wondering if I could borrow some money. And both of my friends just kind of looked at me. I don't know why. And so I pulled out and gave them $5. And as the person walked away, they said, well, why'd you give him that? I said, well, he asked for it, And they said, well, he could use it for drugs. I said, well, he could also be stranded and need to get a ride home.
Exactly.
So, I try not to overthink it. If someone says that they need help and ask for money, if I feel safe and I'm not in a dark area, or don't feel cornered, then I have the money and I feel comfortable, I let my conscience be a guide. That's what Jiminy Cricket said.
Absolutely. And not even that, but it's not like you're giving them enough that they could go and, if he is going to use it on drugs, well, he's going to have to pull it together with what somebody else gave him, because I didn't give him enough to really go get him anything.
Yeah,
But it's enough to get him a combo meal somewhere if he's hungry.
Yeah, and then he can, kill himself slowly with the McDonald's
That's
food.
right. Hell.
Yeah.
There's you know what? It's a double-edged sword. That's what I say. You'll work yourself to death at the gym all week, drink your little green smoothies, and you're still gonna be the one to have a heart attack. That's just that's what happens sometimes. So you never know. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you can't let like a fear of or make an excuse for not being able to help someone out. And that's that was my point, is that there's someone that's in need. If I've got it and I'm able to give it, and I'm absolutely happy to give it. And a lot of times I am cautious. I don't want to pull out money in public.
Right.
And be robbed, and they see that you have cash and or ask you for more and keep bothering you. So anyway, I if I feel comfortable, I will definitely do it. So I'm glad that we have on, you talked about a benefit that actually helps someone.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's also, which I'm not let me rephrase that. I really like Green Lantern stuff because that was my brother's nickname. My late brother, that was his nickname. So I see Green Lantern stuff, I think of him. However, I myself have never been real big into the comics, even though a lot of my friends have pinned me with the Wonder Woman name since I have gone through the medical battles that I have lately and continue to work my 2 or 3 jobs and keep going and enjoy it. But there is apparently a Comic-Con, Cape Fear Comic-Con downtown Saturday as well at 10 a.m. at the Coastline Convention Center, or Coastline Conference and Event Center, 503 Nut Street. I did not realize we had one in Wilmington. I knew there was like Charlotte and Raleigh and some of the bigger ones. So I guess we're moving on up like the Jeffersons. We're gonna have one here in Wilmington. And it says that there will also be related vendors, cosplay participants. Ooh, I think they're thinking a different kind than I do. A gaming area, panels of experts on comics, superheroes, and monsters. Oh my. Food vendors, now you're talking, and screenings of classic B horror films. Now that would be kind of cool there. There are some featured guests, and under age 13 is admitted free. The admission for over 13 is $10 per person.
You know what's interesting? I saw that too, and I remember when we first started this podcast, which is actually this is episode number 8.
Wow, doesn't seem like that many.
Yeah, so that's 2 months. I went through like all the big convention centers and got all these events, and this was not on the list. The next big one was the boat show, which is September the 7th. And so I don't know if this was a last
just came
minute
around, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we saw it because I always see events like this the day that they are done, and I've already got other plans to go and do things.
I think that's pretty cool just to see. I mean, I'm sure I have a friend whose husband is really into that kind of thing, and they usually go to the one, I don't know if it's Raleigh or Charlotte, but they get all dressed up and they go every year. And so I'm certain they'll probably go to this one, and I'm excited to see pictures from people who did. I don't think it's really something that I would spend a day at myself because of, I've never, like I said, been really into reading the comics and stuff. But I love to see the pictures of everybody and the dress up and the characters, and it's cool.
Yeah, so this is on Saturday, and it's kind of the same time frame as the Rock the Beach event. So you can have a choice. I don't know that you'd be able to do both, and that's just being realistic. So one is downtown, and that's the Comic-Con. That's $10, and that is Saturday at 10. And then the other one is down at Carolina Beach, and that is also begins at 10. I think the first band goes on at 11, and it's the first band is a ZZ Top tribute band. The next band is at 1 o'clock, and that's an Allman Brothers cover band. And then the last band that will go on will be a Leonard Skinner tribute band. And those tickets are $20, and that is also Saturday. Now, one event that I'm excited about, besides those, we're talking about Saturday, so I'll just keep on going on Saturday, is Saturday from 1 to 6 at Wrightsville Beach Brewery. That is over on Oleander. It's like at the Oleander and Greenville Loop Road intersection. That is where the Wrightsville Beach Brewery is, and they're having Lagerfest. Now, the tickets for that is $30, and so it says here that they're going to have a lot of North Carolina breweries. They'll be in the beer garden showcasing a variety of bottom fermenting brews. I'm not familiar with that, but
not either.
Yeah, and so they'll have the Broomtail Craft Brewery, Check Six Brewing, Deep River Brewery, Front Street Brewery, Maikai Brewery, Salty Turtle Beer Company, Wilmington Brewery, and then they're going to have music from the Folkestone String Band.
Salty Turtle is from that neck of the woods.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I've never been in there, but yeah, that's recently opened in the last year or so.
Well, Folkestone is up that way too.
Really? Yeah,
well,
I've not
that road.
That.
Yeah, the road, Folkestone.
Oh yeah, I know the Folkestone Road, but I never even thought the two together. Yeah, that okay.
Yeah, so the Folkestone String Band, they're probably from up that way. I don't know. And so that's Saturday from 1 to 6, 5 hours there, and that's at 6201 Oleander Drive. You can find them at WrightsvilleBeachBrewery.com. And again, that's $30, and they'll be, so usually at these beer festivals, You get a small cup, maybe 4 ounces, and you get to go around and try all the different beers.
I do know they have awesome food at Wrightsville Beach Brewery. So if you don't drink, you want to go with someone who does want to try the beers, go eat.
Well, I am not a beer drinker, not at all. And I did go there and have lunch because the owner there of Wrightsville Beach Brewery, I'm not sure if there's multiple or not, but I know that the one that I know is Judd Watson, and he is an absolutely awesome, amazing guy. He was in my small group a few years ago, and he is a super, super, super nice guy. So I'm always happy to go over there and eat some food, and I've never had a bad meal at that place.
They have an oyster salad that is yum.
Are the oysters fried?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing that I think is really interesting that's going to be this weekend is Friday and Saturday night, which is August the 24th and 25th. Alonzo Bowden is going to be downtown at the Dead Comedy,
that one.
Dead Crow Comedy Room, and and he was on the Last Comic Standing, but I don't know him from that. I've never seen that show.
I didn't realize that.
But I hear him on not Wait, Don't Tell Me. But what's the other one that I listened to with Peter Sagal on NPR?
Now you've lost me there, friend. I have been down to the Dead Crow Comedy Room several times to see different comedians through the years, and I absolutely love them. And speaking of somewhere else, that's somewhere, surprisingly enough, has really good food, and it's very, very reasonable. It's not your average bar food. It's good.
Oh, so it is Wait, Don't Tell Me. I was getting it confused with the Michael Feldman show, which is What Do You Know? Not Much. So anyway, Wait, Don't Tell Me. He's been one of the guest panelists on there, and he is absolutely hilarious, and he has a real interesting story. So I don't know if he brings any of that into his show or not. But what's cool is he's coming in town. He'll be there 2 days, and that's Friday and Saturday, and there are 2 shows each night, so 7 o'clock and 9:30. And you can look up the Dead Crow comedy at deadcrowcomedy.com, and you can Google them and look them up on Facebook and get some more information.
Absolutely. They have just about every weekend they have someone doing stand-up, and I've never been to where the person was not good and was not funny. Once I won I think actually the first time I won tickets off the radio. That's what made me realize where it was and what it was, because I went and tried it. Had a great time with my girlfriend that went with me. We enjoyed it. We had the best nachos ever. I was so surprised. And then after that, I've actually gone several other times that we've seen someone we liked there and gone down and decided to buy the tickets and go. One of them was he actually was from Last Comic Standing too. Was I can't think of his name. The guy that did the Dodge commercial, Sunday.
Yeah, I know you're talking about
I can't think of his name.
The redheaded guy.
Yes.
That thing of Hemi, John.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is too funny. We saw him there actually recently, and he comes quite often. So I follow him on Instagram. That's why I'm really upset with myself that I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, he comes at least once every few months. So keep an eye on that schedule, like he said, on the deadcrowcomedy.com, and you might be surprised at some of the people that come that you've seen on TV and you would want to see in person.
Yeah, and another thing that I am super excited about is tomorrow night, Runaway Cab. They are playing in Raleigh, and that is up at the Poorhouse Music Hall at 224 South Blunt Street. And that is in downtown or uptown Raleigh, whichever it is. It's either uptown or downtown. but Runaway Cab, and I talked about them a bunch last week, so I won't talk a whole bunch about them this week. But they're a phenomenal band, a bunch of nice guys, and I told a story that I saw them at the Little Frat Court and at UNC when I was there in '99, and me and all my friends, we bought their CDs, and I had them sign the CD case, and I've had it ever since then, and I've been in touch with Ned, who is the lead singer. And I've talked to some of the other guys too, but mostly Ned. And a funny story is I was here at Kickback Jack's just down the road here on College, and Ned just happened to be in town with his sons who play soccer, and they were doing a soccer tournament. And he just came up, talked to me, and we went over and chit-chatted a little bit, and I thought that was just really, really, really neat. I mean, to think that 20 years ago I saw this band, and they have probably seen me at my best and maybe my worst.
Maybe it's not your best, huh? John Reap. That's the guy's name, Reap. John Reap, the comedian. We were, my mind. I told you. Old gray mare's running a little slow, but it would come to me.
So that's tomorrow night. I saw that the doors open at 8 o'clock. I expect it will be packed and lined out the door, because I've seen them posting some really cool videos that, play some of their music and talk about, 20 years in the making and this and that. And so I think that they will really bring a lot of people out of the woodwork. So if you are interested in going to that, I would say get there as soon as it opens, find a seat and hang out, eat some food and some dinner, and just wait for the show to start. But they are an amazingly phenomenal band. And they play their own stuff, which is great, but they also have some awesome covers that when you go out to a bar or to a music venue, and if it's not like a band where you know all their songs, you want to hear something that you're familiar with, and that's
my favorite, the ones that mix it up like that.
Yeah, and they definitely can, but they will play some good rock, and their music has been featured on some shows like Las Vegas, which was on NBC. CBS's Cold Case had some songs on it. They had some songs on One Tree Hill, songs on Notes from the Underbelly, the songs on a show that's on Fox called Skin. And so they have been around a long time. Awesome guys that are local, and we can't say enough about how much we love to support our local folks.
Yeah, the clip that you played was really awesome. I even thought that then about how different and amazing it sounded. So yeah, now that you're saying all the shows and things they've worked with, that's cool. I didn't realize all that.
Yeah, a funny thing happened. I saw that they came out with a new album, and I ordered it, and I didn't get it after like a week or two. And I thought, well, I'm not going to bother anybody. And then one day, Ned said, "Frankie, did you get your CD?" And I think I ordered a T-shirt too. And I said, no, I didn't. And then so they sent me that and sent me a bunch of stuff with it too. So it didn't take, and because I actually wanted the CD, I didn't want just the MP3s. And he asked me, he says, "Oh, so what did you think of it?" I was like, "Oh, it was good." But I think sometimes when we hear a band and we've heard a band for a long time, like we hold on to that song that was something then. And so this week I spent a lot of time listening to their music, and that song, Soul to the Streets, and I know a little bit more about the band and what's been going on the last few years and when they're probably writing those songs. So a lot of that just really makes so much more sense to me. And listening to it, I can hear much more mature musicians and singers than I did back.
Yeah, you see the change.
Yeah,
that's too cool. I kind of feel the same way with Tina a little bit. She's came out of her shell so much over the years compared to how she was when we first started going to see her, and I'm proud of her because she's so shy, and for her to be so amazingly good, it's like, come on, girl, bring it. And she does now. And it's really great to see, like you see, just see them grow and become who they can be.
So some of the people probably don't know who we're talking about. Let them know who we're talking about.
Machine Gun. It's a local band, and our friend Tina is the lead vocalist. They play all around the Wilmington area. They actually play up near Raleigh and stuff sometimes. I see them all over doing private parties as well. So you can find them on Facebook or Instagram with the name Machine Gun Band. and her name is Tina Langevin. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
I always say it wrong. But she's my girl, Tina, and she's awesome. She is just as sweet as she can be in person, and she can turn it out on stage. So you guys should really check them out if you ever see that they're playing anywhere near you.
Yeah, when we all worked together, she wasn't in the band, and she was just working there along with us, and kind of quiet and very nice. And I think she sat next to me there for a little bit. And she's from up near Winston-Salem, and I'm from Mount Airy. And so we talked, a little bit about all that stuff. And she told me that she played, and I was just like, wow. I could see her like playing an acoustic guitar and in a coffee shop, but to see her up on stage,
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, rocking and being loud, and it's just it's so interesting to see someone flip that switch.
She's got it though, and she does, and it's so funny because it's great, especially like you said, when you see her as the quiet person that she is normally. Well, not on stage, and then you see her stage presence. You're like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Yeah, I haven't seen her play in a while, but maybe I'll keep my eyes out and we'll look at
I'll let you know. We'll have to go together.
Yeah, we can go and record.
Absolutely, that would be fun. So, how's the market been?
Well, it is the end of summer, and we are probably about 10 days away from Labor Day, like as we're recording. And it has been steady, and I'm very glad that it feels like it has slowed down a little bit. And, there's not all these multiple offers that are on. But, I was thinking yesterday when I did Coffee with a Realtor at Janine's Magic Bean. I do that every Wednesday from 7:30 to 9:30. So last night, when we were up there at Trivia, I was telling our friend Shay, I said, hey, I had a little interview with another realtor here in the area. And it was a good time, and I put it on the podcast. She says, well, why? Why would you, talk to another realtor and, tell people how great they are? And so, I told you a little bit about how the market is, but let me just tell you how important it is to actually have a realtor that is helping you. And there are a ton of really good realtors that are here in the area. And so I just want to take a minute and just talk about some of the ones that I know that are phenomenal. And I am here to help you if you have any questions about whether you should buy, whether you should sell, what do I think of this house, what do I think of that house. I'll be happy to answer your questions anytime. But a lot of times us realtors, we get our clients because they're our friends. And so I just want to talk about some of my friends that are in the business because they're phenomenal people. And I am very secure in my real estate skills, and I'm very secure in my business. So I can freely talk about other people and other companies who also do a great job. And that's something that you don't hear any other people in the business do, that we're all so afraid to give anyone else a compliment or share people's
so cutthroat.
Yeah, and so I am very happy to do that. So let me just tell you, so Gabriella Klontz Huffman was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. We did that interview, and then and she's amazing. She's with Sotheby's, and Landmark Sotheby's, I think is the formal name, and she's amazing. She's a mom, and she teaches real estate, and so she knows what she's doing. And then I have another friend. Her name is Jennifer Boyd. She is with Blue Coast, and she is super duper awesome. She has a lot of experience. She has actually, before she got into real estate, she did some home staging. So she is another one that is absolutely great. Another one of my favorite people that I have that's in the business, her name is Merritt Anderson Crawley. She is with Intracoastal, and she and I and them, we all started at sort of the same time. And they are all super good people. And one of the things I like about Merritt is that Merritt tells it like it is. I mean, she is funny, and she doesn't pull any punches. So anyway, those are some of my favorite people that are here in this area. And I have another friend, Hunter Hatcher, who he amazes me because he's only 22 years old. He is still in college, but he is a broker. And he does deals, and he doesn't do as much as he used to because he is an intern at the hospital. He got an internship there. And lastly, I'll tell you about one of my favorite people in the business, and that's someone that's a role model to me, and that's Brian Balcom.
He is with Anchored Real Estate as well, so you may have seen his name on some of the things that we've done. But he's also the owner of Anchored Real Estate, and he started that company in 2014, I believe. But he is absolutely a great guy. He works very hard for his clients and does a great job in the real estate business. And he and I think a lot alike in that we think about helping other people, and he has helped me out tremendously. And he's definitely a role model for me. He's got 2 beautiful kids and a wife, and he works so hard, and he is always a happy, fun person and a joy to be around. He's, I don't see him having bad days, and I don't hear him complain about things. He is a very hard worker and very focused on taking care of the people that he needs to, and he does it with a smile on his face and some bad jokes here and there. So there are several people that I talked about. I believe that's 5 in total that are brokers, besides myself. What's important is that you have someone in this real estate business that you're doing with, this transaction that you're doing, that you trust. So, but they are all phenomenal people. So that is my house, the market. The market is steady, slowing down just a tad bit.
Hey, now what about our first top 5 category that we've been putting out there on Facebook? We want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah. So we had talked about we're going to do the first episode of every month. It is going to be nothing but top 5, the top 5, whatever that we pick and we choose. We want your input. So, and we also want to know what events that you're going to. So please feel free to tag us and share it on our page. Our page is very open for you to share your events, and please do that. But so I think that what we came up with and what a few people told us that they would want to hear us talk about is the top 5 restaurants. And so what we're going to do is Shanny Mae is going to have her top 5. I'll have my top 5, and then we'll talk about it. And then there you go. And we welcome your feedback as well.
Absolutely. And we appreciate all of you that went on and voted when we had our little thing online. And please continue to do so when we have those surveys, because it certainly helps us out on our end.
Shanny Mae, before we wrap up, I did want to talk about our sponsors real quick. DJ Damo Karaoke. He is with Karaoke Kong. That is the name of the company. And his name is DJ Damo. You can find him on Facebook. And, we've talked about him here before on the show. And he is a phenomenal karaoke host. Absolutely amazing. And I think he has a night or 2 opened up. So if your bar, your restaurant, or your special event, whether it's a wedding or if you just want to have a party and have someone come and host karaoke, he has a couple of nights that are available now. And you can just look him up on Facebook and give him a call. And he will be happy to talk to you about pricing. And I know that he's very affordable and that he's worked with a lot of people in the past to make sure that they could get something that they could afford. Again, that's DJ Damo, D-A-M-O, and that's Karaoke Kong. And Karaoke Kong has been in business a long time and been very popular here in the area. Now, also, of course, there's Mermaid Kisses Photography, and you can look them up on Facebook, Mermaid Kisses Photography NC, like North Carolina, NC. And also, Frankie Secrets Real Estate, and that's me. And I am very happy to answer any kind of real estate questions that you have. I am probably the most low-pressure real estate broker that you'll ever talk to. We don't have to get in any kind of agreement or any kind of contracts for me to just answer some questions and help point you in the right directions. And if it doesn't make sense for you and your family, then there is no use in doing it. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions and bounce ideas off my head. I am totally fine with that whatsoever. And that is it.
But anyway, we'll go ahead and we will wrap up. So thank everybody for listening.
Yes, thank you. Oh, and next weekend's Labor Day. So I want to go ahead and let you know ahead of time. Be safe, be smart, be a hot mess and make us proud.
Absolutely. Look us up on social media at 910pod and make sure you share, subscribe, give us some 5-star reviews and help us out.
Absolutely. Have a good weekend, boys and girls.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Make sure to tell your friends to check out our webpage at 910pod.com and to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. If you take a minute and leave us a 5-star review, that really helps other people find us. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, email us at 910pod@gmail.com. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 910pod. Stay safe. We'll see you next week right here on What's Up, Wilmington, the 910 Podcast.